Road trip time, people. Yeah, my brother-in-law and sister have been down for Christmas. Told them how I lost my job and whatnot, and then a couple of hours later the brother-in-law says to me, well, do you want to come up and help me fix the house up? And he offered to pay me. Not bucket loads, but not too bad either. It's definitely worth going. And yeah, my father sort of cracked the shits because he wanted to butcher a few sheep, and he's got wool sitting around and whatnot, and he has to butcher a few sheep. I said, couldn't you leave it 2 weeks? No, can't leave it 2 weeks. So today we've got to press wool, and then tomorrow we've got to butcher a few sheep, and then the day after I will be on my way to New South Wales. It's about a 7-hour drive, probably 7.5-hour drive, something like that. And so yeah, throw my tools in the car, which most of them are actually still in there, and off we go. I'm told the house is in worse condition than mine, and you know, I don't get really into the nitty-gritties of showing every corner of my house, and mine's not too bad, but if you know a few things and you saw a few of the things that I saw when I was fixing it up, you'll know it's not that great either. You know, and a couple of the walls aren't exactly spot on straight and everything, and this place is actually worse than mine. You know, the one they've got. They're fixing it up on a temporary basis, much the same way I did with this, just to make it last for a while. And, you know, eventually they're going to build another house. They've got a design for a straw bale house worked out, but that's something that's got to happen eventually. They got multiple buildings on there, most of which were built without council approval, which has caused all hell to break loose, and that's really why the last people sold it, because of all the hassles of the local government. And I saw this with the other property I owned. It doesn't seem to matter if your local government's runs nothing in the middle of nowhere. Some of the ones that are far out are like absolute Nazism. And I think this one is, because there's particular laws about what you can and can't do. And they've realised that this council doesn't really go by the rules in the rule book, but by what they want you to do. And they were going to argue the toss about one particular building, but they decided not to. And there's one that they actually did pass after we reinforced the roof trusses. And they had that not as a demolition, but as a, you know, we'll sort of like an in progress until you do this. And you've done that properly, and that one's passed. And that's a shed that they have been living in, which isn't terribly bad condition. While they've been down here, they got themselves a second-hand wood stove and oven, like an old school one. It's an Everhot, and they're going to put that in. They've got a camp shower, which I was thinking ages ago, I made one about Country Outdoor Supplies in Queensland's got this certain type of shower. Well, blow me down if they didn't buy that exact one. They're starting to sell those same ones that they only had through that Queensland dealer in Melbourne, and they've got one from, I don't know, Sydney or something like that, and they're using it, and they reckon it's actually really quite good. And he's bought one with a kit which includes a lot of the RV water pump and whatnot, and to be quite honest, I think that's the path I'll be heading down. If they don't have any troubles with theirs, I will probably go and buy one to replace the Coleman, and possibly mount it actually outdoors, as they have with theirs, on the back of my bathroom, and they've just got a hole in the wall where the actual shower pot comes through, and you turn on the little tap for the water, and then it fires up the whole unit, based on the fact that there's been a drop in pressure in the line by you turning the tap on. And yeah, it's pretty reasonably priced unit. So if they have a good run with that, yeah. They had another one they call the barn, which was actually done out as a whole house, but the local government made the previous owners rip all the guts out of it, although it has been really quite nice inside. But they're in the shed, and then they're trying to fix up the small cottage, because there's a big shed, a barn, a small cottage, and a handful of other little sheds and bits and pieces, and he wants to put up another garden shed, and just goes on and on. There's water pumps and an orchard and trees and a lot of stuff. There's also chook pens. Anyway, I'll probably show a bit of this stuff when we get up there. But yeah, we're trying to fix this house up to a reasonable standard. It was probably much like this one, but for some reason they took areas of the roof off in half the building, and the rain destroyed all the walls and whatnot. And then in the other half, it's nice. So some rooms are really quite nice, probably as good as my kitchen or something like that. And then other rooms are just a bunch of rotten wood and shit. And so anyway, we've got to try and straighten the floor and do a few other bits and pieces there. And I'll be taking the camera with me, as you could well imagine. And he's actually got an internet connection up there as well. So yeah.